Hey guys, this video was not done by me. A company called Flix actually came out, sat down in our shop with me right before harvest. We did an interview. I thought this turned out really cool, so I wanted to throw it up on my channel so that you guys could see it. Some of you, I'm sure, have seen this already, but for those of you who haven't, enjoy.
Mom! I got diesel on my GoPro!
So we are currently in Minnesota right now with Zach, and if you don't know who Zach is, you need to get onto YouTube and search for the Millennial Farmer. Could you give the people who have never heard of you a quick introduction to the farm?
Yeah, I'm a fifth generation family farmer. We're in west central Minnesota. We farm corn and soybeans. We've got 2,400 acres right now, full time. It's just Dad and I. I've got 3 kids and a live-in niece, and I'm active on social media, specifically YouTube, when it comes to promoting agriculture and trying to sort of highlight the good things that farmers do on their farms.
When did you start?
2.5 years ago, the spring of 2016. I got into it because I was concerned about the misinformation that goes on a lot when it comes to agriculture. So in the United States, farmers are 1% to 2% of the population, so most people in the United States don't farm. And they don't understand what we do out here, and there's a lot of information that's wrong. And some people can take that and they spin it negatively, and they believe that some of the stuff we do is terrible for the environment and terrible for food safety. And what I try and do is just be a personality that people can connect to and see that, hey, farmers are real people. They have families and they care about the environment, and they do certain things on their farm for a reason. And we're good at what we do, and we understand what we do. And so when it comes to controversial things like GMOs and pesticides and drain tile, I talk about why we use those things. What I'm getting at here is that we're not really drenching the soils in chemical. You can see here I'm walking back where I've already sprayed. I just sprayed here 2 or 3 minutes ago, and it's not like the ground is wet. You can't even see it on the leaves, really. Look in here. Sometimes when it's sunny, you can see the speckling on the leaves where the water touched it. It basically just misting the plants enough to get that chemical on the leaves so that it's active, so that it's effective and does what it's supposed to do. So we obviously don't have a need to drench these soils in pesticide, because that little bit of pesticide gets the job done. And those chemicals are really expensive for us. And so there's no point in us using more than what we need. You know, environmentally and financially, it just doesn't make sense for us to use more than what we need. And so we use the smallest amount that we can get away with using while still trying to be effective here.
So you're actually getting resistance on drainage, on draining the land?
Yeah, you guys don't?
No.
We get a lot of it. So we use the drain tile, you know, below the soil,
yeah,
to take the water away, the excess water, so that we lose less nutrients over the top. And we get a lot of resistance on that because people believe that we're poisoning the water with drain tile by flushing our nutrients into the system, into the water system, and poisoning the lakes. And if you pay attention to the science, and what we're really doing is we're preventing that by stopping the soil erosion and adding, you know, the filtration to the system before that water is flushed out through the ground, and providing somewhere in that field for that water to go when we get heavy rains. And most people don't understand that. They just assume that drain tile is extra water, which is taking our nutrients and is bad for the environment.
Who's driving that negativity?
I think a lot of it is the organic companies driving a lot of money into advertising. It's easy to use words like GMOs and pesticides and make you feel scared about what you could be eating. And at the same time, when you hear the word organic, that's a friendly word. So it's a really easy thing to be able to advertise against what we're doing. And unfortunately, it's kind of driving a spike between two sides. And really what we need to be is just united on an agricultural front. It doesn't matter how you want to farm. We should all just be united and be doing the right thing, and not pit each other against what you're doing is wrong and what I'm doing is right. It should just be what we all do should be the right thing.
It's hard to get away from that competitive
And to
Instinct.
me, the whole organic push it's a marketing thing in our country. It's companies that see an opportunity to market something to people when the people just don't understand the other side of it.
Obviously, you're trying to reach people who aren't farming with that message. So,
Yep.
in terms of your YouTube audience, how's that going? Who do you feel your audience are right now?
As far as my audience goes, there's a lot of farmers that interact with me on YouTube, and I get a lot of non-farmers. I think the actual farmers are more active when it comes to commenting and actually engaging on my stuff, but I get enough comments from non-farmers to know that I'm reaching them as well. And I figure, even if it's just farmers that I'm reaching, at least I'm hopefully doing a good job of showing them how to relay the message about what we do and why it's a positive thing. And at least maybe they'll get some more information about drain tile that maybe they didn't even know.
How do you reach someone from the city on social media and make them actually take an interest in where that food comes from?
To me, what I try and do is, instead of throwing science at them or scientific facts or trying to, tell them how it is or how it should be, what I try and do is just relate to them as a human. Show them my family, show them what I do, use the machinery and what we do in the fields to be the interesting thing and the reason they watch, and then throw in some of the education about here's why we're doing this, and just be a human, be a person, and be transparent about what I'm doing. Because if I'm doing something that I don't want to tell them, maybe it's something I shouldn't be doing. Maybe I need to take a look at it myself. So I try to be completely transparent on both sides so that they can see what I'm doing, and I can also be honest about what it is that I'm doing.
How do you come up with the new ideas? Are you at the stage yet where you're like, okay, what can I teach them now?
I have difficulty coming up with ideas in the wintertime because we don't have livestock, and it's so cold around here in the winter that there's nothing going on. The ground is all frozen. There's nothing happening.
Okay.
This time of year, when the ground is thawed, there's just always something going on. I can just talk about whatever it is we're doing. At least 2 times a week, I can make an interesting video about whatever we've got going on. But the winter is difficult. I've actually started creating a list and keeping track of some ideas that I have so that I can contact people in the winter to try and generate videos during the winter.
So what's your target? Whenever you're really busy, how few videos are you committing to, and how many do you try to get out?
My target on the videos is to try and do 2 of them a week. No matter how simple they are, if it's a quick 5-minute video, people seem to like it, as long as I have some content to talk about and try to bring something interesting to them. Not always doable. Sometimes I get 1 a week. Sometimes I'll go 2 weeks without having a video. Going into harvest right now, we're hoping that we can come up with 4 to 5 videos per week. So
have you got a backlog, or are you just publishing them as you get them?
I publish them as I get them. During harvest, it's going to be interesting. My wife and I are going to try to work together to get the editing done, because that's the difficult part. Taking the video during the day and carrying my small camera around is not tough. It's laying those videos out then on the computer and getting them ready and getting them uploaded that takes the time.
Yes. A lot of people don't understand that bit.
Right. I didn't even understand that until I really got into it and started realizing it.
What was the unexpected side effect? Like, obviously you started this to promote farming, but what's been the thing you didn't expect to happen that's changed in your life?
That a film crew from Northern Ireland would come talk to me and stuff like that. There's been so much unique situations like what we're doing right here that I would never have imagined would happen from what I'm doing. But when I think about it and I look at some of the videos and how many views they have and how many people that I've talked to and shown my videos to and how many homes I've been in on their TV, when you start to think about 200,000-300,000 people on some videos, that's a lot of people watching this stuff. Of course there's going to be a few people interested in doing what we're doing here. So I understand it, but it was definitely unexpected.
Do people think you're making this fortune because you've got a massive following on YouTube?
It's definitely difficult. You need a lot of views in order to generate much money, which you guys have seen. So it takes a lot of views and a lot of consistency to build that up and try and get some of that. I do make money on it. I guess what I tell people is that I'm at the point now where I make enough money to make it worth my time. But a lot of people probably don't realize how much of my time it's taking.
Where would you say the crossover point is where from, it's been your hobby to actually it's worth your time?
For me, when I started getting 30, 40, 50,000 views a day, that's when I started actually generating some income from it. Calendar-wise, it's been getting close to a year now where I had a couple of videos in a row that really blew up and took off, and that was the point where I noticed that, wow, there's actually money in this if you get some views, where before that, I mean, it didn't matter, you know, 50 cents a day, you know, there was nothing there, and then all of a sudden it took off, and that's kind of the point where...
Well, back to that front, which video have you made that surprised you out of nowhere and thought, how on earth has this one been the one that everybody went crazy for?
I've got 2 of them like that. Number 1 was the one that really blew up my channel first, and that was called Gearing Up for Harvest. That was the one I made just about a year ago. Harvest is coming, guys. Well, guys, we have been busy around here lately. I apologize for not getting more video out. Pretty tough to take video when we're working on everything. You can see in here, we've got the equipment in here, getting things ready. To me, it was a slow video, and I just kind of felt like, I don't have much going on, I should make a video today.
Yeah.
I made it, I put it out there, and it just exploded. And I still don't know why that happened, but it launched me into the momentum that I'm still trying to carry today. And then there was another video I made in January where it was really cold out, and I had to get to an implement that was in the back of the other shed. And I had to shuffle machines back and forth between the 2 sheds, and it was cold, and there was a blizzard coming in, so it was starting to snow.
Okay.
And the batteries were dead on just about everything, so I had to drag the battery charger with me. It was a miserable day, terrible day. And I had a phone call with my wife and told her, you know, I was done making the video, it didn't matter, there was nothing there for the day. And she said, well, it's already 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you gotta finish the video and just put it up. Okay, fine. So I did that, and it's coming close to 500,000 views right now. It turned into, I think it is my best video right now. And I didn't even think there was anything there. It's not a real nice day out here, but I gotta get out of the office anyway. So what I'm gonna do is switch some of this equipment around, and we're not gonna be using the trucks at all the next couple of weeks. So I'm gonna yank these trucks out and get the planter in here so that I can work on that and get things ready to go. That figures. We'll let that thing charge and we'll try truck number 2. I'm in a sea of green. It's beautiful. Battery's dead. I don't know what kind of a frequency problem we have with our yard here, but it seems like everything's always dead. There's only one thing around here that never goes dead. Every time. You know, I've got videos I worked way harder on and was way more motivated about, and then thought at the end of it that this is gold. This is what I've been waiting for.
Been there.
And nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Yeah, so I guess in my mind, I just try and stay consistent with it, because you never know what's actually going to take off or not.
Well, you mentioned your wife a couple of times. What's her perspective on this whole thing?
Am I supposed to hold it straight?
Well, yeah, otherwise people got to mount their TV sideways.
Jeez.
She's supportive of it. Actually, she's beyond supportive, because on the days that I question this whole thing, she's the one telling me, you know, you've got all these followers and all these people that watch you, and you've got all this opportunity that you have to keep doing it. You can't just stop. And so she's really been the kind of the rock, I guess, when it comes to that, to make sure she lets me know that I don't have an option.
Yeah, when you're not informed, you just get it done.
Yeah, you just have to do it now, yep.
How do you get time to make the videos on top of the farming?
It's difficult. It's not easy, especially days like today where I've got one thing after another that has to do more so with the videos and the Millennial Farmer and the brand that I've created there. I've been busy with that today. You can see they're busy working on the farm today, and we were working on the combine this morning, so it's difficult to try and balance that as far as what should I be working on today or what should I be doing right now. But a big part of our farm is being active in promoting agriculture in a positive way. I tell you what, even though we're not able to really do anything because everything's broken right now, we still got an LP truck here filling the bulk tank. We got 2 bin guys going, putting that auger back together. We got a seed salesman walking out to talk to me right now. Dad's back there getting some stuff ready so he can run down to this tractor so that I can meet him and fill the bagger. Because I think it's going to take 2 guys to run that, at least for a little bit here. The Millennial Farmer has turned into something way beyond what I ever thought it would. And it's gone beyond a hobby, and it's sort of become its own thing, and it's become its own brand. And now I have to spend a lot of time with it because it's a part of who I am. And so it's just another way to be busy. So balancing it is always difficult. I don't have an easy answer for that.
So what's the big project right now? What's happening?
Number 1 is getting ready for harvest. Well, you can see the guys working back here. We're busy hauling out last year's grain. We've still got a little bit of that left that we're hauling out. We've got some electric motors going in right now that were rebuilt on the grain dryer. We're working on the combine, just pulled that out today, and actually did a horsepower tune on it to give it a little more horsepower because we got a bigger header on it this year. Check out what we picked up at an auction here a month ago. That's right, 12 rows. I don't know how we're gonna keep up with only 3 trucks, but we're gonna be eating some corn now. All right, we got the combine in the shed. I got Ben here from Farm Focused. We got this new 12-row header. We're a little bit concerned about the power issues going with this 12-row header instead of the 8-row because we're pretty sure that all of our corn is going to yield about 300 bushels to the acre this year. So Ben is here to help me add some horsepower to this machine. What are we going to do today?
That's right. So what we're going to do, we'll take this piece of equipment, we'll hook up to it, take a reading, and then we'll go ahead and reformat the file, add a little bit of power to it, get her off and running. This piece of equipment will give you some adjustability as far as power goes. So a couple different power levels you can run throughout the year depending on what you're doing. Maybe if you're getting some tougher beans and you want a little more power, you can turn it up a little bit with that. So that'll be the deal. It's pretty simple.
We decided after talking what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a few different options. We're going to have a 50 horsepower increase, a 75 and a 100, along with the stock settings where it's at right now.
Yep.
So when we fire it up now, is it going to sound like a jet engine?
It might.
It might.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You're gonna be going through the field like a jet engine.
Yeah. So we are gearing up for harvest right now. Things are kicking in full swing.
I'm guessing you're a John Deere man.
We are, yeah. I always tell people that we are John Deere because our local John Deere dealer is so good. Working with Midwest Machinery, which is the dealer in our area, they've been so good and so supportive of getting out here when they need to and getting things fixed for us. So that has been a huge part of what's switched us sort of over to almost all John Deere. Ironically, in 2 days we have a Challenger MT 700 series tractor coming here. That's coming from AGCO. A lot of people know them as a Fendt, probably where you're at. So we've got it's a yellow Fendt coming. It's the same thing, and we're excited. We won't own that tractor. We didn't purchase it, but talking with AGCO and Challenger, they've been working with us. They're interested in getting the Millennial Farmer's perspective on their new MT 700 series tractor. So I'm actually going to have a different tractor out here coming soon. You guys are the first ones to hear about that. I wonder who's here.
So are you a machinery guy at heart, or can you take or leave the tractors?
You know, I can kind of take or leave the tractors. I know a lot of my viewers they're machinery people. They love seeing the big machines work, and I do too. Machines are fun, but when it comes to that side of the business, you know, I'm a lot more interested in just the business management side of things. And when it comes to the machinery, you know, I've been involved in dirt track racing, so I am a little bit of a gearhead, and I do enjoy turning wrenches to a point. But yeah, no, it's not. I don't go all crazy when it comes to the machinery.
Well, I watched one of your videos and you had your daughter in the cab with you, and I had this experience myself, but my end result from sticking it online was I get attacked by the press for having my kids in the cab of a tractor.
Really?
Really. So what's your perspective on bringing the kids along with you and educating them in agriculture? How important is it to get those kids into that cab?
For me, it's really important to have them out here to see what Dad does every day, to see how our food is made and see how we produce the food, fiber, and fuel in this world. Because somebody has to farm. Not many people do, but somebody has to. And so to me, it's important to give them those life experiences, whether they want to farm or not. It's important to me to give them the experiences to see this is what we do, this is how it's done, this is why we do it. You know, beyond having a business and making money, we do it because we're proud people and we take a lot of pride in working hard and providing for the rest of the world.
So is the farm at a size where it's sustainable, or the industry as a whole, do you feel you have to grow this farm?
I think going forward in the future, in the US anyway right now, there's a lot of opportunities for people to bring on smaller farms with a lot of the big push as far as sustainable and organic and all those buzzwords you hear when it comes to farming. Farming is popular right now in the US. Unfortunately, when it comes to this size of farming and what we do, we've kind of been under the microscope and we get criticized a lot for some of the stuff we do. I believe that what's going to happen is big acre corn and soybean farming like we do is going to get bigger. I think there will be less of us, but I think those of us that are there will be bigger. So I think in the future, as the business model we have, we're going to have to grow. But at the same time, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for smaller farms at the same time.
How much storage capacity have you got here?
Bushel-wise, it's about 300,000 bushels that we can store.
And you then delivering that over the year?
Yep, over the last year, we'll pull from the bins kind of as we sell grain. When we store corn and soybeans, so there's still a little bit of each left out there. We're going to have plenty of room to fit the crop this year, so we're going to carry a little bit of corn over.
How's the crops looking?
Pretty good. We got hurt a little bit by too much rain in June. Some of the low areas flooded out, so the corn isn't very good in those areas. And then it didn't rain from about the middle of July until the middle of August, so we had a little bit of a drought. So the sandy spots on the hills are hurt a little bit. So it took off the big top end yield numbers, I think. But overall, I think our average is going to be pretty good. Early numbers I've heard coming in from two different guys that have taken some soybeans out sounds really good. They're talking 60 to 65 bushels an acre on beans. I don't see that being our whole farm average. That would be unbelievable for us. But just hearing it from two guys that they've got good beans makes me feel good about it. Hopefully we got some good soybeans out there.
When are you hoping to get started?
I think we are going to start combining corn within the next week, probably 5 to 8 days.
It's harvest time, baby. We're doing it.
So the two-man team of you and your father, how does that work?
We have guys that will come in and help us for harvest. So we'll have we'll bring in another 3 guys when we get to corn harvest, because we've got to have guys to run the grain cart and the trucks and the tillage.
The guys we've been listening to, the sort of the magic date is Thanksgiving. Is that the target to be all done and dusted?
That is the hope, yeah. So hopefully we can be done with tillage and everything by Thanksgiving. That doesn't always happen, didn't happen last year. But usually, hopefully, on a good year, we're done by Thanksgiving, yeah.
So if you've got a young farmer at home right now watching this who is on the edge of wanting to experiment on YouTube blogging, what's the top tips you'd give them?
I would say number one, first thing to remember for anybody thinking about it, it's easy. You don't have to make it complicated. All you need is a phone, a good phone and an internet connection, and you can get yourself a YouTube channel within a matter of minutes. And if you have the content there, if you have something you think might be interesting to somebody, you can create that video and you can be there within minutes, and it costs you nothing. That would be the main thing, is that it's simple and it's easy. And if you really want to continue with it and you really want to be successful with it, I think it's important that you have something that's yours. You got to do something different, because anybody can pick up a phone and do it, and it is so easy to do. So you've got to make sure that you've got to kind of brand it as your own way. You've got to have something unique, your own style, right?
Well, that was certainly an unfortunate 20-minute setback, but those things happen. I have nobody to blame but myself, and the positive spin on it is that I don't think I'll get fired for that.
You know, creative ideas are out there. If you come up with them, you know, you can be successful as long as you come up with something unique.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's good to meet you guys.
They planted it upside down.
They planted it upside down. This one here really probably doesn't need to be cleaned out, but I'm gonna do it anyway, because if we have company over for Thanksgiving, I don't want my mother-in-law to judge me because the inside of our grain dryer is dirty. You know how it is. Not only do they break stuff, they also can't figure out the auto steer on the computers once in a while.
Yeah, I think it does. Anyway, so it's worked. So then I can change it.
I think in this right here is the sensor that lets you know when the axle falls apart.
Okay, Randy, why don't you tell me a little bit about this Hardy Rubicon 9000 we're standing next to?
Well, as you can see, it's maroon.
Yep.
This thing must be 300-400 pounds. It is not a nice day.
Also, if you like it, check out Farm Flix for yourself.